Hello, good evening, and welcome to another wonderful edition of Eye on Port. It is proudly brought to you by Ghana Revenue Authority, Goil Company Limited, Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, also Ghana Community Network Services, and West Blue Consulting. All these huge institutions come together to make this program very possible. It is also partners, the media partners for this program is Ghana Web. So almost every content of this program, you can read them on Ghana Web. Also Business and Financial Times. The Thursday edition of the Business and Financial Times, you should be reading almost everything about the maritime industry that emerged from this program. The Graphic Business as well, the Tuesday edition, you can read virtually everything that emerged out of this program as well. And the Maritime and Transport Digest, the entire newspaper, focus a lot on this particular program. This week, quite a number of things are happening within the port industry, and it is important that we let you see some bit of it, just bits and pieces of it. And then when we come back, we're going to talk a lot about free zones. Do you even know what they do? Do you know about free zones? To what extent are they contributing to the economic growth of our country? What role do they play around industry? What role do they play? How do they connect with the port and all of that? We'll be dealing with them. In the meantime, take a listen to some activities around the port industry.
E-ANANSE Library Initiative, a bold new concept by world-class IT organization West Blue Consulting, has been officially launched in a ceremony held in Legon that saw wide participation from people of all walks of life. The E-ANANSE libraries are to help revitalize Ghana's reading culture and provide people with the tools to compete in the 21st century by giving them access to high-quality contemporary literature, state-of-the-art computing facilities, and world-class literary events while maintaining the Ghanaian storytelling heritage. The Chief Executive Officer of West Blue Consulting, Mark Addo, in an address on behalf of the company's founder, Valentina Minta, who conceived this library concept, said, the E-ANANSE project should be viewed beyond just another corporate social activity, but instead a necessity that has been long overdue.
This isn't just socially responsible, it's necessary to ensure Ghana's success as a nation and our own as a company that thrives on Ghanaian innovation. Excellence is in everybody's interest, including our own, and it's this dedication to fostering it that makes the E-ANANSE libraries an exceptional addition to the West Blue portfolio.
She said she was committed to ensure the E-ANANSE concept embodies the fundamentals of cultural heritage as well as innovation to equip Ghanaians to compete globally.
The E-ANANSE libraries are the embodiment of this adage, firmly rooted in Ghanaian and African culture, yet giving our people the wings to fly and soar in the world.
George Anda, Deputy Minister of Communications, said the E-ANANSE initiative aligns with its outfit's commitment to use information technology for national development.
At the Ministry of Communications, our interest in and support for the E-ANANSE libraries is predicated on its usage concept of bringing together the three strands of what our mandate is. That's information, communications, and technology.
The Deputy Minister of Education, Dr. Yao Osei Iduchum, called for E-ANANSE to reach out to more deprived areas in the country to transform lives of people who are typically not exposed to such privileges for a more holistic social development.
I would like to encourage you, even though this is located in a very nice environment, Legon, great place, reach out to the Zongo community, reach out to the inner city.
West Blue has for the past month brought to the doorstep of the Ghanaian a glimpse of what the E-ANANSE libraries seek to do for the country by the organization of some interactive events. Recently, the E-ANANSE organized a storytelling event for street children of Makola to provide some education and entertainment to the deprived children. According to the project consultant, Sylvia Arthur, Plans to expand the E-ANANSE libraries across the country are underway. She revealed that a wide range of engaging events would be organized several periods of every month and urged the Ghanaian youth to associate themselves strongly with such a laudable initiative.
The idea is to encourage people to use both libraries. So you may come to Lake Gon to read professional and personal development, but then you would come to Osu to read poetry or comics.
E-ANANSE currently has 2 cutting-edge facilities in Osu and Legon, and to become a member, an adult would have to register with only 20 Ghana cedis and 10 Ghana cedis for children, and this covers the entire year.
So that's West Blue Consulting's initiative, aside supporting Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority, as well as quite a number of government agencies in raking in a lot of revenue through technical and IT support. They go beyond that, also setting up those electronic libraries, E-ANANSE libraries, to encourage a lot of young people to learn. And that's a vision of Valentina Minta, the founder of West Blue Consulting, and they believe that this is a way to impact into the younger generations. There are quite a number of other stories around the port industry also coming up shortly.
Members of the Galilee International Management Institute have visited the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority to assess the progress of the institution's alumni. According to the president of the Galilee International Management Institute, Dr. Joseph Chevel, the tertiary institution, which has 60 current GPHA staff as its alumni, has been collaborating with the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority for 30 years to provide adequate expert training to some of GPHA staff on a yearly basis.
Every year, we receive senior officers who come to learn from the Israeli experience. And the Israeli experience is mainly in management and also in marketing and of course port management and port security.
He said the institute has gained good reputation in marketing and management, especially port management and security, and is glad to share such knowledge with the staff of the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. Dr. Joseph Chevel revealed some of the advanced level of technology Israel uses to bring socio-economic development to its country, and expressed how such techniques, when transferred onto Ghanaians, can improve massively Ghana's national development.
Because of security, so we had to develop a very advanced security system. So we share this experience. So we are glad that every year the Port and Harbour Authority of Ghana is sending to Galilee for training short-term courses. Many senior officials, look, technology is changing in the world. So they come and they learn the new technology, the new management method.
The Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority continues to present its ports as an avenue for people and institutions to visit and learn essential information on port and maritime affairs. A 26-member delegation made up of faculty members and participants of the Zimbabwe Staff College Joint Command and Staff Course 32 has visited the port of TEMA on a study tour. The tour was to acquaint the participants with the foreign defense and economic policies of Ghana. And with the port of TEMA being a strategic economic asset of Ghana, they find it as a necessary place to gather adequate information on economic policy. Isaac Teria, a senior marketing and public affairs officer of the port of TEMA, revealed to the delegation Ghana's commitment to facilitate trade by reducing the time and cost of doing business in its ports, and this is achieved by the introduction of the paperless port clearance process.
The paperless has brought speed and also remove human interference in the clearance process.
According to him, Ghana is keen on security and has made sure to keep activities of piracy and crime on sea far from its jurisdiction.
We patrol our waters to make sure that the activities of pirates or armed robbers are kept at bay, and then we also have our men on the ground, about 500 security men on the ground. And then we also have our CCTV center where they monitor or they survey the activities of the port.
The delegation from the Zimbabwe Staff College were taken through the port of TEMA to have an experience of operations inside the port. The colonel who led the delegation said the familiarization tour of Ghana's geopolitical and economic structures would contribute tremendously to their knowledge base.
We want ideas, we want cooperation, we also want to learn from our colleagues, so that when we go back home, there are chances of improvement.
The Ghana Trade and Finance Conference, with the support of the Mexican Embassy to Ghana, has held a mid-year get-together networking event that sought to bring members of the conference together and expose them to opportunities that lie within the trade and finance sector. Various players in the trade and finance sector, including the head of trade services of the Agricultural Development Bank and the CEO of Ghana Commodity Exchange, participated and gave an account of their contributions to economic development and how members can take advantage of opportunities in their circles.
How does Agricultural Bank or Agricultural Development Bank help in financing pre-shipment or post-shipment transactions? We do that looking at the short-term medium, we look at also the medium term, and we finance them through services.
The guest of honor, Mexican ambassador to Ghana, in her presentation demonstrated the vast number of opportunities Mexico holds and called for collaboration from Ghanaian industries to partner Mexico for economic development.
Ghana will turn into the hub for cars in this sector. Well, I don't know if you know that Mexico is the fourth producer and exporter in the world of auto parts. So we are planning together with the Ministry of Trade, Mr. Sheremate, to do some meetings, important meetings with that sector in Mexico.
Selassie Kofi Akom, Chief Executive Officer of Ghana International Trade and Finance Conference, said such programs embarked on by his outfit is geared towards empowering the private sector to grow their businesses by taking strategic financial decisions with opportunities available.
Come to expose our participants or members to the opportunities that lies within their circles, how they can access funds to do business, how they can access funds to farm, how their farm produces would not be an issue of burden on them again.
The members of the GITFIC were taken through a tour of operations at the TEMA port. The Ghana International Trade and Finance Conference is an annual assembly that provides a platform for people in the trade and finance sector to present and explore realistic solutions to trade, investment and funding opportunities. The ambassador of Mexico to Ghana has called on the management of Ghana Ports and Harbors Authority as part of her nation's initiative to enhance economic relations with Ghana. The Mexican ambassador, who was speaking to management of the Ghana Ports and Harbors Authority, stated that although her country has little presence in Africa, Mexico identifies Ghana as a strategic point of African development, hence chose to re-establish its embassy here. She described her country's reinvigorated relationship with Ghana as essential because Ghana is playing a key role in the establishment of the African Continental Free Trade Area, and it will be key for Mexico to do business with Ghana.
Ghana will head the African Free Trade Zone Secretary. That means a lot. Means, first of all, that Ghana has gained a reputation inside Africa, and that Ghana must be and will be the gateway for Mexico to enter and do more business with Africa.
She revealed that with political dialogues between Ghana and Mexico having taken place recently, Ghana's Ministry of Foreign Affairs has assured to reopen its embassy in Mexico to take advantage of Mexico's interest in Ghana.
The Minister of Foreign Affairs yesterday reaffirmed to my Deputy Minister that there is a commitment of Ghana to reopen as well its embassy in Mexico.
The Mexican ambassador said her country takes significant interest in the widening of the Ghana's ports, which would open up new opportunities for Ghana's economic partners like Mexico.
Being here, especially today, also is very important because we were invited through an initiative that was made by the Colombian ambassador to have a presentation of the project that is almost to end, to widen this port that will be the most important port of West Africa.
The Director General of the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, Michael Luguji, said the Port Authority is taking ambitious strides to provide the needed supply chain logistics to support Ghana's current attractiveness to the trading world.
All the ambitious projects that we have in place, port expansion in both TEMA and Takoradi, even preparing to also start a new port, build a new port in Keita. All that is to always make sure we are a step ahead of the demand of trade.
He said his outfit would seek to rally stakeholders to investigate possibilities of collaboration between Ghana's ports and Mexico.
Just as we indicated, Mexico's own position in Latin America is a significant economy, and we certainly will be encouraging our trading community to find out what are the competitive advantages of Mexico that we could attract into our own system.
Some members of Ghana's trade industry who were present at the meeting expressed some enthusiasm to see Ghana break boundaries in trade with other countries for economic development.
Always been looking for opportunity of registering our product outside the boundaries of Africa and to go global. So when there is an opportunity like this, we deem it a privilege.
Okay, so those were some of the news items or activities around the port industry. Now that you know all of that, if you are involved in export, if you also are involved in the free zones in any way, if you are involved in real estate, providing services for those within the free zones enclave, this is the time. We're going to discuss free zones extenso. Quite a number of things are happening. We learned that just, I think, in the past week or so, the trade minister signed a deal with a Toyota company there. Quite a number of innovations are coming around, and we'll be talking about how we can integrate, or the free zones will be taking advantage of some of these things, plus many more. Unfortunately, the Chief Executive Officer of the free zones, Mr. Bev, is it authority or board?
Authority.
It's authority.
Yeah.
Okay, the Chief Executive Officer of the Free Zones Authority, Mr. Michael Ochrebefi himself is in the studio. Pleasure to see you.
Pleasure, my brother.
We will be talking extensively about free zones right after the break. And like I said, if you want to get involved, you can also send us a message on WhatsApp. You can also phone us at the appropriate time. We'll announce the phone lines. But in the meantime, with the WhatsApp messages, you can send your message to 055-901-9177. 055-901-9177. Free zones is the agenda right after the break.
Innovation from Goyle that takes you further. New Gold Super Synthetic 5W20 and 5W30 lubes have been expertly crafted with the latest in liquid engineering technology, highly advanced for modern engines, prolongs oil change intervals, save you fuel, clean, protect and enhance engine performance. The way engines work has become complex, and Goyle has innovated to stay ahead. Expertly crafted lubricants that work excellently with all petrol and diesel engines of today. New Goyle Super Synthetic 5W20 and 5W30 lubes. Innovation that takes you further. Goyle. Good energy.
Dear valued client, the Ghana Trade Hub mobile app is now live to make it easy to track your consignment and know the estimated duty payable for both general goods and used vehicles. We are pleased to inform you that the Ghana Trade Hub mobile app is available for download on Google Play Store for Android users and the App Store for Apple users. This is the best opportunity for all importers and exporters to know the duty payable on every good under transaction. You can reach the team for inquiries and support by calling +233 242 435 663. Send an email to support@ghanastradinghub.com. To remain updated, kindly follow progress on the following platforms: www.facebook.com/Ghana Trade Hub, www.twitter.com/Ghana Trade Hub, and ghlinkedin.com/in/Ghana Trade Hub. Importers and exporters can download the official Ghana Single Window mobile app, which allows you to track your consignment conveniently and also allows you to obtain your estimated duty for general goods and used vehicles. Please spread the message to everyone importing or exporting. The Ghana Trading Hub mobile app is now live. Download and never be cheated. This is powered by the Smart Ports project under the auspices of the Government of Ghana and the Ghana Revenue Authority. Smart Port, improving Ghana's ease of doing business.
Utiliser les ports de TEMA et de Takoradi, c'est avoir un traitement rapide et sécurisé de vos marchandises diverses en conteneurs, en sac ou en vrac, ainsi que tous vos véhicules en transit. Le Ghana a construit un parking bien pavé pour tous les véhicules en transit. Une nouvelle gare frigorifique pour le stockage de la marchandise congelée en transit. Avec un nouveau centre de traitement de données construit et la mise en œuvre efficace d'un guichet unique national qui permet aux données d'être accessibles par tous les intervenants, le traitement des dossiers dans les ports du Ghana est maintenant efficace et plus efficient. Utiliser les ports du Ghana, c'est profiter des systèmes de portes électroniques et d'exploitation des terminaux, ainsi que de la réservation des navires en ligne, entraînant ainsi un parc de camions fiable pour un acheminement de vos marchandises dans les brefs délais avec un suivi satellitaire jusqu'à nos frontières. Les femmes, à vous les honneurs. Les ports de TEMA et de Takoradi célèbrent la femme. Que les bienfaits de cette célébration apportent plus de bénédictions.
So we are going to explore the free zones and how we can utilize that particular area for our growth as a national economy, and to what extent have they already been doing all of that, because quite a number of things are happening in that area. And like I announced earlier, the Chief Executive of the Ghana Free Zones Authority, Mr. Michael Ochebefi, is my guest this evening. Once again, Senior, pleasure to have you around.
Pleasure.
You've been busy.
Yeah, trying to work for Mother Ghana.
Work for God and country.
Mother Ghana and our God.
Yeah. Then important. I know that you've been busy in the constituency too. You going for parliamentary seat or something?
Yeah, for now, I think it's not time yet for us to, but I don't know. I'm still working.
But you are contesting?
For now, I mean, the nominations or permission have not been granted to people to declare their intentions
yet. Okay.
And also to look into going to politics. I mean, talking about the front line.
Okay.
So for now, we are just there, seeing what God will do for us.
But if you are going, that would be what constituency?
And maybe because I come from Kufridia.
Okay.
So then I may think of Kufridia.
The New Jobbing South area.
Yeah, that's my constituency.
Yeah, you're a very popular Kufridia man.
That's my hometown. You know, that's why I grew up, and I've been living there for some time now and working for their interests.
Yeah.
Specifically, I mean, seeking their interest alone. And I think that
has always been your passion.
That is what I stand for.
Yeah.
I mean, as a politician.
Yeah. Yeah. Free zones. What's happening there? What exactly, in the first place, for those who are not familiar, if you say the Free Zones Authority, who are you, and what's the free zones in itself?
Thank you very much, my brother, for the opportunity to be here this evening to just share some thoughts and ideas about the free zones. The free zones concept is a very specialized concept, and it operates everywhere in the world. You cannot go to any country in the world and you not see free zones.
Okay.
Of course, it manifests in different ways or forms. You go to certain jurisdictions and free zones operates as an export processing zone. You go to a place and it's there as a free trade zone. It operates as special economic zones. I mean, many. And but the concept is very simple. You know, governments. The Ghana concept is what I'm focusing on.
Okay.
So the government concept, Ghana concept is specifically export oriented. So government intentionally giving certain people the opportunity to do more export so that the government to encourage them through incentives, as in giving them fiscal incentive to be able to export more. So free zones, normally it's a geographical area that is well situated at place. Specifically business that take place there may be manufacturing services, development of warehouses, and even commercial businesses. But it's mostly outside the customs territory. Governments give certain fiscal incentives in the form of tax reliefs and other things to encourage such people who have invested their money to be able to do more export, to help the government or the country get more foreign exchange to boost the currency and the economy.
Okay, so if I understand you clearly now, if somebody wants to invest into this country, or somebody wants to establish a factory and export outside the shores of this country, you provide a space for them here, they set up their factory, and then they produce whatever they want to produce, and then export.
Yes.
The product outside.
Right. The product or service. I mean,
or service.
Yes. Because the point is that we are there to help you to do business. Because the free zones concept worldwide, it's a specialized concept.
Okay.
So it cannot operate within the normal market area or the normal markets or industrial environment.
They can't come into the normal environment to come and set up?
The Ghana concept, it's applicable. I mean, it can happen in Ghana. But when you go to other countries, it will be very difficult, because Ghana, we are practicing the two-tier system of free zones. We are doing the enclave system of free zones, and we are also doing the single factory system.
That means what?
So in Ghana, most of the free zones enterprises are located at one particular place. When you go to our TEMA, free zones enclave, the export processing zone, that's our enclave, that's our flagship enclave. You will see a lot of the free zones companies located at that enclave. On the other hand, other companies that are also free zones enterprises are also somewhere located elsewhere, not within the enclave in TEMA, but they have also been granted license to operate as free zones enterprise. So in Ghana, you may not necessarily have to set up in the free zones enclave alone to be given permission or to be given the license to operate as a free zones enterprise.
Okay, so you can be located elsewhere,
outside
the enclave, and still you fall under the umbrella of the free zones.
Because Ghana is specifically practicing that two-tier system of free zones, where we do the enclave system and we also do the single factory system. The single factory is one concept of free zones that operates elsewhere in the world, where companies may not necessarily have to be located at a free zones enclave, but still will be granted the permission or the license to operate as a free zones enterprise. But in Ghana, we are doing both. We are doing the enclave one, where most of the companies within the free zones are located in the free zones enclave. I mean, either the export processing zone or the free zones, special economic zone, wherever.
Okay.
And there are a lot of companies who are also free zones enterprises that are not in the enclave.
Okay.
But they are still free zones enterprises.
Okay. And that's the single factories.
Yes, single factories.
But so what makes somebody wants to set up a factory and be under the free zones system? Because I mean, if I'm an investor, I want to manufacture in Ghana, I feel that I can get some of my raw materials in Ghana I want to establish here. Can't I just come and then set up and start producing and then exporting? Why do I have to be under the umbrella of the free zones?
Yeah, but that's possible. But the point is that, see, free zones is a specialized arrangement.
Okay.
You see, there is a conscious effort by government to encourage certain investors to be able to add value to product or services for an export. So the government will get a lot of in the form of getting more foreign exchange. You know, we need foreign exchange to help our currency to be able to be strong. And so government intentionally would say that, okay, these companies must operate within the free zones enclave or work as free zones companies, and they'll be given specific fiscal incentives in the form of tax breaks, so that these companies will be encouraged. Because see, it's not that easy. You are looking for having a permanent or reliable market in the foreign land, or to be able to operate as a free zone. Because you can do the normal business, operate and sell 100% in the country. But if you want to do free zones in Ghana, you should be able to export minimum 70%.
Okay.
And not just that, getting minimum 70% means that you have to get a very reliable source of market
outside,
or you have to get a very good off-taker to be able to carry your goods away, and if you want to be in that business. So it is not that easy. That is why government will also want to encourage you. I mean, because without you, we will also not be getting a very strong currency to do business with.
So we are encouraging people to set up factories here and then export about 70%, a minimum of 70% outside. For government, you talk about the fact that you bring in foreign exchange because you have the company setting up. Beyond foreign exchange, what else does government gain from this?
Government is gaining a lot of things in the free zones. You know, when you go to other jurisdictions, we're talking about, let me use Dubai as an example, or Dubai, let me use Morocco. Morocco, the industrial city is called Tangier, and the free zones of Morocco called Tangier Med is located in Tangier, and it has done a lot for the country. We are talking about skills transfer, skills and knowledge transfer, which cannot be quantified. Very, very, very important ingredients in national development or building economy. We see most people may ordinarily wouldn't have acquired certain knowledge, but for free zones. Example, in Ghana, the production or manufacturing of chocolates or cocoa products. Chocolate. Hitherto, we didn't have chocolate companies in Ghana.
Oh.
I mean, it's a bit, we had...
We know what we knew of the cocoa board and all of that?
I'm talking about not cocoa processing companies. I'm not talking about the board as in the...
No, I mean... The processing company.
Yes.
I thought that they were processing something.
No, because they were at that time. But you see, when they're coming into force of certain big investment, foreign direct investments, like big investment coming to the system, they came to change shift the paradigm from the normal 100% export of the raw products to now adding value and even doing 100% export, but at the last stage of production. Now, these companies were bringing expatriates to work. So from the managing director to the least person of production, we're all expatriates. But now you see that we have in the free zones alone, we have about 6 cocoa processing companies operating within the free zones.
Okay.
And all these companies somehow has gotten the scale from the first establishment that came to the system to process cocoa. Do you get what I'm talking about?
I get what you're talking about, but I want to also get this. You're talking about 6 separate cocoa processing companies aside our own, because I know that the CPC, we have a cocoa processing.
CPC is there. We have Barry Calibo. Barry Calibo is there. We have Cargill. Cargill is there. We have Olam Cocoa. We have Cocoa Titon.
Yes, I know.
We have Cocoa Titon. We have Niche Cocoa, we have Plot Enterprise.
All these are
free zones enterprises.
I see.
Doing cocoa, you know. So now we let me use Barry Calibo, for example. Now from the managing director to the least person at Barry Calibo now are Ghanaians.
Okay.
So now we don't have any expatriates there in-house. So they don't need that knowledge that was transferred, the skill that was transferred to somebody has now permeated through the business, and now a lot of people have gotten, hold of such knowledge, and they are using it. That knowledge alone cannot be quantified. So we don't only look at what the country is losing in the form of taxes, but we're also looking at what the country is gaining that cannot be quantified. Apart from the fact that there are also a lot of job opportunities being created. You know, there is nowhere in the world that the country has developed without free zones.
I see.
I'm telling you, go to anywhere. I'm an executive member of the African Free Zones Organization. I've traveled to almost all the free zones in Africa. I've been to meetings and even an ex-official member of the World Free Zones Organization, Executive Council. So we know what we're talking about. When you go to places and you see what other countries are doing in free zones, you see that we are still crawling. We have to back up and push out. Because see, the state has invested so much in the free zones, and GPHA alone 10 Dubai round, and now Dubai free zones is in Dubai is now, I mean, that driving Dubai. When you go to Dubai, in Morocco is doing well because of Tangimed.
And I noticed that in Morocco, the Tangimed, the port and the free zones are together.
Most of the countries, that's how it happens. It's a total thing from the, because the process. So the chain is from the port stage to the last stage of export.
Okay.
That's why it's like that.
How many companies do you have within the free zones?
In the free zones currently, we have about, now the active companies working in the free zones are within 180 to 185.
Wow.
Active companies working. But we have
180 to 185
active companies working within the free zones. We're very active.
What sort of production are they engaging in?
Yeah,
you talked about cocoa.
We are talking about, I mean, those in manufacturing, agribusiness, I mean, to the manufacturing, textiles, and to garment, what have you? I mean, steel, and a lot.
Then from what you said earlier, it means that Ghanaians and local workers, staff from Ghana, indigenes, are the ones employed in these organizations.
Yes, because
that's raising some employment.
We specifically tell you to do these things because we may not have it written in the law clearly, as in black and white, but we tell you that you cannot just decide to bring people from outside the country to come and do works that can be done by a Ghanaian. So except the work that's available or job available cannot be undertaken by a Ghanaian. But if a Ghanaian can do it, then you have to employ a Ghanaian. Even if a Ghanaian cannot do that job, you can only bring an expatriate who will come as a trainer to train Ghanaians to be able to acquire such skills to use, I mean, in their absence.
That's what I was coming to, because if you have about 180 companies within the free zones, and if you are saying that if you take the cocoa processing companies alone, about 6 of them, majority of them, about 90% are Ghanaian workers there. We shouldn't have a lot of problems. We should see a lot of employment going on, particularly within the free zones.
But that's what that
the quantum of employment that you are engaged in. Can you tell us?
Yes, we have. The free zones has created a lot of, you see, the free zones employment is in twofold: direct and indirect employment. Example, when you take a company like Blue Skies, Blue Skies is a free zones company operating within, outside the free zones enclave. And they employ people direct. I mean, they have direct staff that they've recruited to work for them permanently as direct employment or permanent staff. They also have outgrower schemes across the country. These are indirect employment created for people who work for Blue Skies, but not directly. You understand? So the employment, in the area of employment, there has been a phenomenal, I mean, improvement even in recruitment in the free zones.
How many companies were there before you came in, and how many have you seen now?
When we came actively, there are about 140 to 150 companies working so well.
Okay.
Actively. But we had about 203 companies operating.
Okay. So but the rest were not too active.
Yes, mostly, you know, when we came, we realized that most of the free zones enterprise that they've lost their markets in the foreign land, because it's an export-oriented business. You have to have an off-taker who will be able to buy your product, or a permanent market who will be able to buy your product for you to be relevant in business. But most of them have only one source of market. So when they lose that market, then they will not be active again, I mean, as far as the operators in the free zones is concerned. So we decided to help those companies by creating a new unit. The essence of the unit was to identify markets for these free zones enterprises who have lost their market, and also identify new markets for companies that will be coming in the near future. Nice. So that you will not be in a very, I mean, tight corner in doing business. Because if you lose your market, you cannot be relevant. And we realized that a lot of them has lost
their market.
Their market. And so they were not relevant in business.
And is it our duty, is it our responsibility as a country where they are operating to secure their market for them?
No,
it's not.
that is not the responsibility of government. We are a regulator. And for me, I believe that the modern way of doing business is to be part of the business of your people.
Okay.
And in this case, the Free Zones Enterprises, well, the Free Zones board, authority is there for the Free Zones Enterprises. So we have to make them relevant to contribute to national development and also to the GDP. So, I mean, when they are not doing well, it means that the authority is not doing well. That's the assumption.
So you help them market.
We have to find ways and means to help them. Because some of them, because they are local markets, and I mean, they don't have expertise in trying to identify very good markets elsewhere. They may only have known of maybe one type of market or one market. But then we have to now identify and also introduce them to other markets that may also be competitive in business. And so that's what we'll try to do.
So it looks like we are helping a lot when it comes to these free zones. As a country, one, we are helping them to be comfortable, give them tax incentive, and then we give them a location. Sometimes we support them with raw materials, and even when they are struggling with the market,
we don't support them. We don't support them.
They don't make use of our raw materials.
No, because you have to now get your own raw materials.
So they import virtually every raw material?
You can either import or you get it from the local market.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yes, depending on what you do. I mean, but you can either import
and some also utilize the local market. For instance, the cocoa processing companies.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay,
they do.
So and that as well. Aside the indirect benefits that a country is making through the employment of our people, and if you do the calculation, if you do the math that you talked about, for instance, since you came, we're looking at about 30, 40 companies joining.
Yeah.
Aside the indirect benefit to the country in terms of employment, and you talked about the currency flow and all of that, what sort of direct benefit can we pinpoint a direct benefit to our country?
The direct benefit is what we're talking about.
The employment.
Yes, employment, knowledge transfer, skills transfer
to our people.
And those that sell 30% in the local market, they pay taxes.
Okay.
And you pay other fees. You know, you are not exempted from the payment of every fee. You also pay other fees and charges. You are only exempted from the payment of maybe corporate taxes on profit. Corporate tax on profit. When you are given a free zones license, it means that you are given certain benefit to enjoy in the system, like. Normal corporate tax in Ghana is 25%. So if you're a free zones company, you're exempted from the payment of these corporate taxes for 10 years.
For 10 years?
For 10 years. And after 10 years, you only pay 15%. You will not even pay 25%. That is very mouth-watering. But the unfortunate part is that around us, the countries around us have very lucrative incentive than...
More than us.
Yes.
I see.
In Cote d'Ivoire, for example, they are also exempted from the payment of these corporate taxes for 10 years, and after 10 years they pay only 1% tax, whereas we pay 15%.
Okay.
So in Togo, you can see that we are doing well in business, but because the game changer for Ghana, the trump card for Ghana in business is not in this, but the ease of doing business. We're talking about the political stability. These are things that
attract the market.
We use as advantage in business.
Yeah, because I think that we've heard quite a number of times that it looks as if we give away too much as a country when it comes to incentives for these free zone companies. The tax exemptions, for instance, people think that it's quite high when you have to compare or calculate what we are getting from the free zones. And I don't know how you can strike that balance as to what we are getting from what we are giving away, because quite often people say the aside of the promise that we offer to these people, it looks as if Ghana, once you go there, you say you want to do this, they give you everything, go and operate, and you take everything away.
That's the misconception.
Is it?
For me, you see, I have
in the name of attracting these companies to be in here?
I have been in free zones not too long, but I have traveled to learn from free zones. You know, I'm talking about getting to know what other countries are doing in free zones. And I'm telling you that Ghana, we are not even close to what other people are giving. I recently visited a country. We were going to attract investment. And when I went, after just talking, I thought I had given the best. Nobody clapped for me. And I saw that they were not motivated. I could see from their faces that they were not motivated.
They wanted more.
Then when they decided to also say, I mean, the country that we were going to call them to come, when they decided to talk about their free zones or what they offer as incentive, I was so shocked. I was so shocked. We were giving 10% corporate tax exemption. They were giving 15%. And they were giving 1% after the 15 years. We were giving 15%. They were giving lands for free for people to. They were even giving warehouses for free.
For free?
For free. You see? And these are well-developed countries, and they've been doing this over the years.
Is it not because they are well-developed?
No, because I'm saying that they have been doing this over the years. See,
even before they became developed.
That's right. Like Dubai. Look at Dubai, what Jabali did. I mean, the kind of incentive they have, we don't even have something close. I'm only telling you that free zones cannot be the only incentive-giving organization in Ghana. That's the first point that people should know. What is more, free zones incentives cannot create problem for Ghana. Because over the years, how many companies operate within the free zones? How many exemptions do free zones companies enjoy? Total, put together. Mining companies, some of them have exemptions. You know about that?
Yeah.
No, if we are bringing like shipping companies, some of them have exemptions. If we are bringing oil companies, oil rig to the country, and the kind of exemptions that will be given, will it be equal to the free zone machines that will come into the country for production? Will it be equal to? Be very sincere. When a free zones company is importing a machine, normal machine that will cost, let's say, $5 million or $10 million, and a rig, an oil rig, we're not talking. You cannot. These things cannot be compared easily. The point I'm making to you is that we should not make that mistake that free zones is the only incentive-giving organization in Ghana. That point must be noted seriously. And we have to understand that free zones incentives cannot collapse the country, because it has not collapsed other countries' economy. And it has only improved
those economies.
Because if you go to Cote d'Ivoire, now most of the, but for us coming and being so aggressive, most of the companies within the enclave in Ghana would have relocated to Cote d'Ivoire. Because the Cote d'Ivoire incentive, or the benefit, the incentive they were giving were more lucrative than what Ghana was giving. And we are all competing in the same market, trying to look for the same foreign direct investor to come and invest in our country. So my point is that we should not, be too quick to say that free zones,
we are giving too much away.
That's right.
But what is it also not because that a lot of people are expecting quite a lot from these companies?
People don't know what free zones companies are doing. That's what we are trying to now. So a lot of the free zones companies are doing a lot.
Okay.
No, you see, I'm talking about free zones companies giving out employment, creating jobs for people, both direct and indirect. Free zones companies helping people to acquire certain skills that they wouldn't have gotten but for the free zones company coming. Free zones companies also undertaking major corporate social responsibilities.
Are they really doing that? That's what I was going to come to, because people say that because you don't. Do you get into contract with them?
With
these with the free zones enterprises.
Yeah.
And in the contracts, are there terms of promise to promise, and then the promise that we get from them, and the promise they also supposed to give to us?
Because we are supposed to do what we call monitoring, and also and also do compliance audit to check whether they are going according to the act,
the quid pro quo, the arrangements that we have.
Because you cannot just stand up and come to somebody's country and do what you want. Okay. There are rules and there are certain procedures.
So you have a contract with them.
Somehow social contract may not be written down.
It's not.
We have the act that set up the free zones.
Okay.
Act 504 clearly states what every free zone enterprise is supposed to do. So that's there.
That's for us.
Yeah.
As the laws that we operate with.
Yes.
Do we make these
We
laws?
have regulations that also govern what we do and how we run the enterprises.
Okay. And to what extent are these regulations and our laws communicated to the enterprise?
Because immediately you become a free zone, you are given a copy of it.
Just giving a copy.
We
No
also train
signatories
you.
to them?
No. I mean, that one is not possible. The assumption is that there's a social contract between the free zones enterprise and the regulator. Okay. Because the regulator will give you the guidelines to follow, and will make sure that you follow the guidelines through compliance audit, so that if you don't comply, we will take action against you.
Okay.
The point is that you cannot operate as a free zones enterprise and decide to do what you want. It's not, you cannot do that.
Okay.
Because there are strict laws that we operate with, and these laws cannot easily be thrown out or just right over. No, you cannot do that.
The laws, do they also comprise corporate social responsibilities, for instance?
These are things that may not necessarily be written down.
Yes.
But it is part of our arrangement. Like when you go to the regulation,
you only verbally advise that, oh, just do this to help our people.
In the regulation that in the free zones regulations, we tell you what. Example, a percentage of your profit must also go to training of staff, which is very important.
Is it in the law?
In the act. I'm telling you about the regulation that we know everything cannot go into the act. So we also do regulations to help. But we tell you how much money you're supposed to spend on training. You know, some of them can come here and just take advantage of our people. They will not give them, they will not build their capacity.
Yeah. In fact, that's why I'm building all these.
We will not allow that to happen. What is more, I'm just saying that every corporate entity, I mean, whether you are told or whether it's written down, know that you are supposed to, you are corporately responsible to the environment you're operating. You should know. I mean, it is not for us to even tell you.
But Mr. Murphy, you know that people would know that, you know, normally as a human entity, I should be able to do this.
I was building a point.
There is no structure, no agreement. They choose to do it.
I was building a point that it is part of the things we do.
Okay.
We may not write it down that do this. But I'm saying that it is part of the things we do. When we go on compliance audit, we check everything like that. Okay. You cannot just operate within an environment and decide to neglect the environment or not to do anything to improve lives of the people in the environment. We will not allow that to happen. And that is why I said that earlier on. I said that the Free Zones Authority is a specialized authority, or the Free Zone concept is a special concept. It is not like a normal business concept. In the free zones, for example, everything the free zones enterprise need must come through or must go through, whatever you need, you have to come to the free zones authority to help you get it. In other words, if you need anything, any service from the state, you have to come to the free zones enterprise. Sorry, the free zones authority. So the point I'm making here is that we are involved in what they do at any given time. So you cannot just decide to do what you want, and also you also submit what we call quarterly returns, and we know what happens, and we will undertake this compliance audit by also checking, I mean, on your quarterly return to see whether you are complying with certain things and coming there physically to monitor what you do. So you cannot tell us you're not doing anything.
Okay, I think that is the concern that I had, because one of the queries that have come to the free zones is that, you know, we have quite a number of companies, like you mentioned, about 180 companies, but they are not giving back to Ghana as much as we are giving. And that is also because there is no explicit contract or an express contract that engages us and them. And within this contract, then there is a responsibility that, you know, you have to give so and so back to the community. So we just let them operate. They make quite a lot of money. They send it outside. Yes, we get sometimes 10% of the market around here. Sometimes we see the foreign exchange also helping all of us. Sometimes as well, as you mentioned, employment has been. But giving back in terms of CSR CSR to these communities. People have always complained that if you had 180 companies and each is helping with education, each is helping us with water, at least we will be benefiting. But we let them lose too much.
That is what I'm talking about. Over the years, free zones companies or enterprises have not broadcasted what they do. So
but they've been doing a lot.
Yes, the world didn't know. I mean, talk about Ghana. Well, the world, yeah, talk about Ghana. They didn't know what the free zones enterprises were doing in the area of corporate social responsibilities. That is why we have decided to do what we are doing now. We are doing a lot of media engagement. You see, when we even prior to we coming, you as a journalist, you were not so much involved in what in the things of free zones. How many times do you even engage free zones in your normal line of duty for them to throw light on what they do? That was not what we wanted to do. Most media people were not interested in free zones because I don't know whether they saw free zones then as a court or as an institution that. So what? That's why there are a lot of misconceptions about what we do in free zones. So we decided to breed agents, open it up, and let people know what we do. When people get to know what we do, then now we will start lining up the free zones enterprise and the achievement for you to see what they do. So when you go to the cocoa growing communities and you see Barry Calibo doing a lot there, when you go to the cocoa growing and you see companies like Ulam Cocoa doing a lot there. When you go to places, you see Cargill doing a lot in the area of corporate social responsibility. When you go to areas and you see Golden Exotic doing a lot in terms of corporate social responsibility, then you will know that free zones enterprises are contributing a lot to the state.
From the port angle, the free zone companies, do they pay duties?
Depending on
import duties.
Yes, import duty they don't pay. Not on all products or everything they import. They can only be exempted from the payment of taxes on raw material for production and machinery for production.
Raw materials
for production and in certain class of vehicles like trucks. These are specialized trucks for operations, pickups. And depend on the type of pickup. It should not be a luxurious
Toyota Hilux.
No, when we came, free zones companies were exempted from the payment of taxes. I'm talking about import taxes on all vehicles.
I see.
Then we said that no,
including Mercedes Benzes and all.
So now you can't have that luxury. You cannot get it. You see, little by little, we are just entering. We are just coming in to make sure that we align the concept to suit modern day of business, so that government will see it as a relevant institution of state.
Okay,
that's what we're trying to do.
When you came in, what did you do to deal with this area of them importing virtually anything for free, more or less?
No, because
without paying import duties?
Because the point that we realized that we have to help government in this area, because you cannot just stand up and say that, okay, well, most companies will come and they say that we want to, you see that intentionally, some of them will say that I'm importing this vehicle for this operation. How can you?
Meanwhile, they will use it for their personal.
So that we said that we will not allow that to happen. You see, the first serious obligation for me as the head of an institution is to make sure that to safeguard the interest of government in the whole operation of free zone. Okay. And that's what we're trying to do. Whereas we try to help the free zones companies to thrive well, do business, to succeed, get people employed, transfer knowledge and skills, and also get money for their business. We have to also make sure that they don't come in to take advantage of government. That one will not happen.
I'm interested in that part. So what did you do when you realized that these free zone enterprises were importing virtually everything free,
it was not
without duty?
It was not virtually everything, like certain vehicles.
They are private,
but then we just wrote to them that it cannot happen again. Just that.
When did this start?
When we came.
Which is when?
You mean when this government? Yes.
Okay. So prior to that, they were importing their private cars free.
Some of them. It's not all of them. Not all the companies that operate. You know that in a normal business environment, you may not get every business or every company operating strictly within the law. Some of them may be somehow try to try to take advantage of government.
And why should that be?
It happens everywhere.
If you enter into contract with them, they can't go beyond that. If they go, they flout.
I'm not by this saying that you can do that and go scot-free. That's why we are there to check you. In the free zone, I think that, I don't know, I stand to be corrected, but I'm sure I'm the youngest to have, been the CEO of this organization, and they have issues with me. When you go to the free zone.
Oh, you mean Kojo Jumboafo is older than you? He was there before.
Yeah.
You. Okay.
Yeah. You see that the free zones enterprises, they had a lot of issues with me. Now they have issues with me because they see me to be very strict, extremely strict. We try to do things well. You cannot take advantage of government. That one will not happen, because whereas we are helping you. Yesterday, last week I invited the company to my office. They were using the enclave for certain business that they had not registered for. And then the guy was saying that an Irish guy
had not registered for the company.
No, they
as a free zone.
Business. It's a business, and when the Irish said, look, we are doing, we are threatening to take them to court, and they said, look, you want to attack us? We are bringing investment. I said no. So can you go to your country and do what you are doing and go scot-free? You cannot do that. You see, the point is that when we have principles, we should be able to apply principles at any given time. I'm sure we'll succeed as a country, because the point is that this is a public service we are providing to the state and our people. And I believe that we should not just decide to do anything but strictly do what will bring development to this country.
You wouldn't say that we are too lenient because we intend to attract them. We want to make the environment soft for them.
For me, it is important, but we have to be very careful. Note that if you have been in the private sector for a very long time, coming to do public service, you come with a certain orientation as the business is your business. For me, that's how I see myself, that the business is my business. When government succeed, I've succeeded. If government fails, I've failed. So the point is that whereas you are championing the cause of the free zones enterprise, you have to also look at the interests of government. The interest of government must be paramount, because that's what we are working for, and you are there to secure or safeguard government interests. So we cannot just sit down for people to take advantage of government.
You know, you mentioned something that intrigued me, that there is this company that, although is registered under the Free Zones Enterprise and operating a particular business, they were trying to be smart and operating a different company.
No, this company is not a free zones company, but it is in the free zones enclave.
I see.
And they were doing a particular business, but they were trying to do another business, like taking advantage of the facility, the free zones facility.
So it's possible that they could have even been importing without paying duty.
That one is not.
If they were,
that one can never happen.
I see.
That's one of the things.
If they were taking advantage of the free zone system, they could have equally taken advantage
I'm talking about taking advantage of the free zones facility, the enclave.
Yeah.
That's export processing zone in TEMA. It's the enclave. It's an offshore area.
Okay.
I'm talking about that enclave, not the concept, not the things within the free zones, like exemptions from the payment of taxes and stuff like that.
Okay.
If you are not a free zones company, it means that you don't have your name and everything in the system. Where you see, this is a specialized arrangement with the Ghana Revenue Authority. So you cannot just decide to do business like that. It's not possible. It can't happen.
Okay. I was going to ask you that, to what extent have you tightened your monitoring mechanism? Because some of the companies that sometimes they claim that they are not active and they are not really operating, it's emerged that they still enjoy.
That's one of the things that
the benefits that are supposed to be enjoyed by active free zone enterprises.
That's one of the things
without being active.
That's one of the things that I think I'm doing well in. For me, I believe that we have to be very, very, very careful as a state. For me,
as a state,
yes.
Have we been? Have we not been careful?
We should be, especially those working as leaders of public service organizations. You should not just allow people to do what they want in the business of. For me, you cannot just, because the point that when we came, the free zones concept had only one compliance regime, like the system of compliance was just one single regime, where at every time or any given time, either quarterly or free zones Authority will undertake a compliance audit in a free zones company. The staff that do monitoring, they are the same staff that also do compliance. So the policeman and the watchman at the same time. There will be a problem.
I see.
You see, we are not saying they can be.
No, definitely they can be compromised.
So I'm just trying to say that. So then you have to now try to. So we decided to create a new unit altogether. So now we have monitoring unit and compliance unit.
I see.
And we decided also to get private consultant to do a tech check for us when we are not so sure about what we do. So in one quarter alone, you can have 3 different categories of compliance taking place within your facility. And we do this to check or to make sure that people don't take advantage of government. That's all.
Yeah. Your area requires serious, and I think that it's good that you brought this up, and I'm happy you also say that you've taken this angle very serious. It requires a lot of serious monitoring,
yes,
from my view.
Because
people and companies are going to be enjoying some huge incentives from the state.
No, because
and if there is not proper attention or monitoring in that area, you may end up, in the name of attracting companies, give a lot away as a country.
That is why,
and that's where some leakages may come.
That's why I'm saying that it is our responsibility. It is this is a joint responsibility between the Free Zones Authority and the Ghana Customs, Ghana Revenue Authority.
Yeah.
You see, for me, I will not go out or go to the public when I get to see somebody from Ghana Revenue Authority being compromised by a free zone company or having problem. I'll just have to do a back office stuff to report and see what we do immediately. Because see, note that the free zones enterprises are business people, most of them are. And not everybody in business would like to do good business.
Yeah.
That's the first
Definitely,
thing.
a businessman.
So you have to now be sure that you will tighten your belt or your things so well to be able to surmount any strategy they adapt, able to go over it. Because the point I was trying to raise is that, you see, now we're in this business to make sure that people do things right. Somebody decided I will not do things. I will not do things right. I will do what I want.
Yeah.
It is for you to be sure and make sure that you put so much pressure on those people to do things right by making sure that your regime is very strict, and there should also be good sanctions.
Yeah.
Because
do you have that?
One of the things that I came to meet was that, I mean, these are things that I'm saying that I'm talking too much. But I mean, there's so much flexibility in sanctions. No way. I mean, you cannot just go scot-free.
Is that what it is now?
That is what is happening now.
That you have tightened up.
We are revoking licenses a lot.
How many have you invoked?
For now, I mean, we're going to next 2 weeks. We're having the investment week breakfast meeting in Tamale. We're going to announce
those that you are invoking their license.
Yes, but some of them
what did they do?
I mean, it depends on what. I mean, a lot of them have flouted most of the tenets of the act. And you know you're supposed to do this over the year. We warn you, write to you, we warn you, we tell you to stop, we fine you. You do that continuously, we will revoke the license. Because we have the right to give you license, and we also have the same right to also revoke the license if we think that you are not doing things well.
Mr. Befi, what is it internationally not accepted that you get into contract arrangement with the enterprises?
We have not seen anything like that.
In any of
the world of free zones.
I see.
Yes.
No contract. They just come in, you hand them the regulations, and they start working.
I mean, we have the act, we have the regulation.
I mean the regulations.
And we have to operationalize it. I mean, management have to.
Because you see, my thing is, now somebody has flouted. Somebody has gone against what you set out for them. And now you are dealing with just regulations. When the people come and you don't let them agree to something, you offer them
that's
something,
why I'm saying that
you need to let them accept something. And if they go beyond it, then you can hit them and say, come back.
Management will have to operationalize by breaking this into small rules to just guide what we do. Example, now, a free zone company is supposed to use maybe from 9 to do transaction. And when you're supposed to use from 9 to do, you decide not to use. It's not written clearly in the act or in the regulation that when you don't use the form 9, you be punished. It's that you're supposed to use it. So we have to we have to break it down into small rules, and we add sanctions to it. Do you understand? So in the regulation or in the act, it's not written that black and white that if you don't use from 9 to do such transactions,
so and so punishment is there for you.
We have to break it down in the form of rules to help us govern.
Because it appears that you do not even have specific sanctions for specific offenses.
We have specific sanctions for specific offenses. That's
you have that.
We have. That's what I said. That's what I said. We have. That's what I said. We have now.
I see.
Because you see, it is written.
Since when? Has it always been there?
It is written down clearly. It is what I'm talking about are things that have been written down clearly
within the laws,
and we have communicated it to them.
Okay.
And note that you see the Free Zones Act, for example, the Act 504, 1995. That act was promulgated in 1995, became operational in 1996. This act has not seen any amendment since its promulgation. So it has become so weak. And so for us, the major achievement that we can tout ourselves as done is trying to get the act revised, and that's what we are doing. We are seriously reviewing.
So at the moment, you are operating a very weak
but we are working on it. We are almost through. We are almost through getting that. But that doesn't mean that you can take advantage of the concept. I'm saying that we want to make the act more relevant to modern day business or free zones. Because if you go to free zones in the world, you see that free zones is doing so well. Because most the acts that set up the free zones maybe had been reviewed like 4 or 5 times. So there's new changes that happens within this jurisdiction that can cause them to also be relevant to the time.
I'm going to go for a break. When we come back, I would like to know that aside your monitoring team, your monitoring unit, and your compliance unit, is there any other unit that monitors these enterprises? And to what extent do you do that also with customs? All of that will come up after the break.
Here's innovation from GOIL that takes you further. New GOIL Super Synthetic 5W20 and 5W30 lubes have been expertly crafted with the latest in liquid engineering technology, highly advanced for modern engines, prolongs oil change intervals, save you fuel, clean, protect and enhance engine performance. The way engines work has become complex, and GOIL has innovated to stay ahead. Expertly crafted lubricants that work excellently with all petrol and diesel engines of today. New GOIL Super Synthetic 5W20 and 5W30 lubes. Innovation that takes you further. GOIL. Good energy.
Dear valued client, the Ghana Trade Hub mobile app is now live to make it easy to track your consignment and know the estimated duty payable for both general goods and used vehicles. We are pleased to inform you that the Ghana Trade Hub mobile app is available for download on Google Play Store for Android users and the App Store for Apple users. This is the best opportunity for all importers and exporters to know the duty payable on every good under transaction. You can reach the team for inquiries and support by calling +233 242 435 663. Send an email to support@ghanastradinghub.com. To remain updated, kindly follow progress on the following platforms: www.facebook.com/Ghana Trade Hub, www.twitter.com/Ghana Trade Hub, and ghlinkedin.com/in/Ghana Trade Hub. Importers and exporters can download the official Ghana Single Window mobile app, which allows you to track your consignment conveniently and also allows you to obtain your estimated duty for general goods and used vehicles. Please spread the message to everyone importing or exporting. The Ghana Trading Hub mobile app is now live. Download and never be cheated. This is powered by the Smart Ports project under the auspices of the Government of Ghana and the Ghana Revenue Authority. Smart Port, improving Ghana's ease of doing business. This is Ion Port. It is proudly brought to you by Ghana Revenue Authority, the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, also GOIL Company Limited, Ghana Community Network Services, as well as West Blue Consulting. Today we're talking free zones, how we can take advantage of free zones to grow our economy. To what extent is it benefiting already? And the man who is helping me digest virtually everything is the Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Free Zones Authority. We've been talking extensively, getting to understand what you do and all of that. But one area that I still want to know from you is monitoring of these enterprises, because there have been quite some concerns again around how the area of monitoring of these companies, that we ensure that they are doing virtually what they are required to do. They are not taking undue advantage of the process, you know, to their advantage and at our disadvantage. You have a monitoring unit within your space there, and you also have a compliance unit, you said earlier. Customs, how well do you coordinate with them to ensure that, okay, that company says it's free zones, he's enjoying so-and-so from the state. Indeed, that company is an active free zones and is supposed to enjoy what they're enjoying.
Yeah, thank you very much. You know, this work we do mostly with the Ghana Revenue Authority, the Ministry of Finance, the Ghana Immigration Service, and other state institutions that maybe including GCNet and somehow West Blue. We also work with around with them somehow.
Oh, I see.
You know, the point is that every institution that we work with has its own responsibility, has its own function that they play in trying to make sure that we secure the state, we secure what we do as a state. Because we cannot just sit down, as I said earlier on, for anybody to do what they want, any institution of state, any free zones enterprise to. So Ghana Revenue Authority through the Ghana Customs is there to check certain things with them. So we do a lot of compliance with them. They do their own auditing, we do ours, and they also do. So apart from the fact that we have our own compliance regime, the Ghana Revenue Authority also have theirs.
Okay.
You know, they also come to the free zones enterprises also to check to see whether they are doing things well or not.
Is it possible that a free zone company can connive with some company that just want to escape the system, also, you know, go around and import in the name of, you know, because the free zones would not have to pay the import duties, and then find a way to bring in some of these items belonging to people who regularly should be paying duties, but say that the things are going in the name of free zones, and then they can evade the duties.
It will be very difficult for me.
How
now? I mean,
I just have to partner a very good free zone company.
I'm just trying to say that these are things that, you know, you cannot just. We know what you do, really. We know your capacity over the years, and even if there's improvement, you want to even expand. You want to do things. You have to communicate that to us for us to know what you want to do. So you cannot just stand up and say that I'm doing this. It will raise an issue. It will raise an eyeball for us to see, for us to see whether you have certain bad intentions in that business, or a particular business that you're doing. Because, for example, if you've been importing a particular capacity of goods for a period of time, and all of a sudden you decide to shoot it up to a certain level to create suspicion. And on the other hand, sometimes these intentions cannot be underestimated.
Yeah, because they may not want to overly do it. But I mean, for instance, you mentioned that they could bring in pickups for free. So I have free zone company enterprise that says that they are bringing about 5 or 10 pickups, and I just add 2 of mine.
That is what I'm trying to say.
And I beat this.
See, when you bring these, it's not that you get the exemptions easily. It's not automatic.
No, you provide evidence.
No, the one thing that people should know is that it is not automatic. Okay. I mean, you don't get to get these benefits because you're a free zones enterprise.
Okay.
The mere fact that you have been licensed as a free zones enterprise doesn't give you the free will, I mean, to enjoy such benefit. You have to apply for it. And it is at my discretion now to either approve or not, or sometimes even to the board.
Okay.
You understand? So it is not something that you can easily get. If you said you want to import 2 cars, we have to find out how many cars have you imported since you became a free zones company. When was the last time you imported a car? What did you use the car for? I mean, we have to know all these things.
Who evaluates all of these?
The compliance unit
of your organization.
Yes, we'll do that. I mean, we'll do a lot of back office stuff. I mean, to be able to check.
And you don't think some of your back office staff can be compromised?
I'm talking about the work that they do. I'm talking what these staff do. The staff, as in things that they do behind the scenes, to be able to check whether these people are going to use the car for the purpose
for which they are applying, yeah.
And also to see whether they are not trying to abuse the system.
Yeah.
Because if over the years, like say within the matter of 1 year, you have already imported 10 vehicles or 5 vehicles, for example, and your export is less than, let's say, we will not raise suspicion easily.
Yeah.
We have to check. There should be a balance somehow. I mean, between your import and export, we should know. I mean, it should clearly tell us that you don't have any bad intentions in business. But if your intentions only is to import but not to export, that also raises certain curiosity for us to now find out why you are not exporting but import.
Okay, so they are supposed to produce and send about 70% out and then about 30% inside. Does this apply to all companies?
It applies to all the companies within the free
All
zone.
the companies are supposed to leave 30%?
No, it is not compulsory.
Okay.
But I mean, you can decide to do that. Okay. You are supposed to sell only 30% in the local market. You can't sell more than that.
But most of the foreign companies appears to be exporting.
The foreign direct investors, they do
out.
100%. Ulam Cocoa, they do 100%. Cargill, they do 100%. But Niche Cocoa, for example, Niche, they do 70%, and they do 70 to 75%, or sometimes even 80% in export, and they sell the rest in Ghana.
Local companies who want to take advantage of free zones, what's available? How can they get to be part of free zones and enjoy your benefits?
The concept is there for everybody in business. I mean, every business person has the right to benefit from the concept. It is a concept that is not meant for people who are members of that cult. It's not even a cult. So that thing must be taken off. It's for everybody. As far as you do business and you want to do export, you want to add value and do export.
That's what I was going to.
You can still be qualified, but we have to do a lot of work to check whether you can qualify, because in the first place, you should incorporate a business. So if you have a business already, if you have incorporated a business in Ghana, you can be given the license to operate as a free zones enterprise. And also, you should be able to have a good location to do business. And you should also not create problems with the environment. You should not have environmental issues. So before you are given the license, you have to bring a certificate, an environmental certificate from the Environmental Protection Agency. You should also have the muscles financially to do business. So we have to know your financial muscles. You should also have a permanent source of market. For arts, it's very important, because without a market in the foreign land or offshore market, you cannot be part of the free zones. You should have. So that one must be, we are so strict on it, because we have to see agreements, we have to see, I mean, MOUs, and we have to even do a follow-up to check whether these agreements and these MOUs are true before you be given the license to operate.
And the person should be exporting a value-added product.
Yes.
So not a raw product.
No, you cannot.
The raw material.
Most of the company that like.
So I'm exporting yam.
Yeah, like,
I just don't get up and be exporting yam.
No, it's not possible.
Okay.
There should be value addition. Like Barry Callebaut, they sell in Europe. Their brand name is Forever Chocolate. Mostly we go to, and they do this production from the beginning of production to the last but one in Ghana, and export 100%.
I see. Okay, so fine, somebody wants to export. The person is interested in exporting. The person wants to be part, and I'm getting quite a number of messages along that. The person wants to be part of the free zone companies. Unless this person has a manufacturing company or sort of that adds value to the product they intend to export, they can't be under you.
Yeah, then you cannot be, because I mean, specifically, you have to add value. You have to be prepared to export. If you can do the minimum export rate of 70%, then you can be granted license. After other things has also been, we have cleared you on other documents that you're supposed to submit to the authority.
How do the real estate companies come in when they say they are part of the free zones? How is that? Because they are not exporting their houses.
The real estate can come to the free zones in twofold. They can come in as enclave developers to develop free zones enclaves.
Okay.
You know, in Ghana free zones, we have 4 priority areas: manufacturing, services, enclave development, and warehouses, and also sometimes commercial business. So you can if you want to operate as an enclave developer, mostly you should be a real estate developer or a real estate person. Then you can qualify to operate as a free zones enterprise. Because then if you develop enclaves, it means that you are going to operate as like a developer and a manager of a free zones entity or a facility.
Okay.
You can also come in to provide real estate services to free zones companies. The free zones companies are offshore companies.
Okay.
So when you do business with them, the assumption is that you are selling to an offshore
company.
That's the assumption.
Okay.
Then
you become part of a
yes,
free zone.
Yes, you can also be part of the free zones.
That's interesting. You can join the conversation, and quite a number of you are already joining via WhatsApp. The number you can WhatsApp us on is 055-901-9177. So 055-901-9177. You can send your messages in. If you want to call and you can't begin calling from now, 020-552-8353, 020-552-8353. So maybe quite a number of messages coming to you. Somebody says, employment, CSR, and employee capacity building are all very basic practices in any business industry. Why is our value proposition in tax incentives, etc., so clear, whilst the responsibilities of these FDI, that's the foreign direct investment companies, left to their discretion? Government should consider ownership or equity settlement in some of these agreements, because what we have now is not enough. Tony Fua, Ready Live. What do you make of this?
I mean, for me, I don't know. Maybe that can be the decision of government, a major government policy, because you know the concept of free zones is somehow specialized. Like you're trying to certify certain class.
Yeah.
And you're trying to develop a certain class, or to develop a certain class of business, and also develop economy consciously.
Yeah.
Because you cannot just decide to take ownership in people's investment in the name of giving them taxes exemptions or giving them fiscal incentives.
Okay.
For me, I think that's not too good.
Let me get on the phone. We have Nanapoku from Accra. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Samuel.
Yes, you're on. You can go ahead and speak, please.
Good evening to your listeners.
Good evening, Nana.
Samuel.
Yes, good evening.
I've heard the Free Zones chief executives. In fact, he has spoken well. What I will say is, his facts, I will say his thesis is one of the best. But if you come to the practical terms, it doesn't reflect whatever that he's saying.
What is on the ground, Nana?
Yeah, Ghana, our motherland, is bleeding in the hands of companies registered under free zones. It's unfortunate. We have people who do not have Ghana at heart and thinking that they are smart and hide under the free zones operations and then evade taxes.
I see.
As they can.
How do you know that?
We are traders, and we know what is happening in the country. Goods that are supposed to be exported find its way into the local market. The percentage he is quoting sometimes it's more than that.
You mean sometimes more than 30% come into the market?
More than 30%. And I tell you, they invade taxes through that, and then the goods will find its way into the local market. Yet, we, the importers that are importing to the country, import and pay taxes. And these companies hide under free zones and evade taxes based on tax exemptions. What is happening to motherland Ghana?
Okay.
Whatever he's saying is fine, but practically it's wrong.
Okay. Let him react to it
the
now.
Country are suffering.
Okay.
Because some of these free zones companies are making it so cheaply under the disguise of free zones.
I see. Okay. I think that point is well made, Nana. Your point is well made, Nana. Let him react to that. Thank you very much. So the traders are worried.
So you see, it's a serious issue for me. There's a serious misconception about the concept of free zones.
Okay, and what's this misconception?
I am not by this also underrating the statements made by Nana, but the point I'm trying to make is that a lot of times that we have had course like these, like the people will be telling us that these things are happening, and you
want evidence,
and we cannot even see anything like that. Note that, let me put this on record, very importantly, very important, that not all the companies in the free zones enclave are free zones enterprises. I repeat, please. In the free zones enclave, the export processing zones in TEMA, not all of them there are free zones enterprises.
So why are they there?
Because when that facility was built, free zones companies then were not willing to go there to locate there. So then the facility couldn't also decide to lie idle. So they decided to rent it out or lease it out to companies that were looking for places to do business.
And then aren't they taking advantage of that enclave to get some?
They are not, because these companies that are there are not in the books of free zones.
Okay. So if you happen to see their product on the market, it doesn't mean they are enjoying free.
Somebody came to us last 2 weeks that he raised an alarm that there's a company in our Saman. They've raised hot walls. They are doing a lot of bad things there. They have been carrying goods at night. So then we move on there straight away. We went there, we checked their books, everything.
And everything was okay.
So, you see, the mere fact that we operate around free zone doesn't mean that. That's the problem.
Okay.
I am not by this saying that. Line. Okay, sure.
And get Grace. Do we have Grace on the line? Hello, Grace.
Yes. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
Please go ahead.
Okay, my name is James.
Quickly,
I want to thank Honorable Bessie for the great job he's doing. You can all see from his expertise and technical knowledge in the free zone. In fact, I live in TEMA. You see a lot of development that is ongoing in the free zone, and we really congratulate him. But I just have a simple question for him.
Go ahead.
If you are a service provider in the offshore petroleum company, we have service providers that Petroleum Commission give them licenses, a permit, and all that. Like the free zone that he's talking about.
Yeah.
What are the requirements? What are the formalities that a service provider, and not a manufacturing or production or a service provider, what are these requirements?
Okay.
And I believe that will not be as much as that of the manufacturer. So that's my simple question for you.
Thank you very much. And Mr. Befi, I'll let you add this one to it. There's a message that says, hello, Sami. Please tell Michael that I have been following up to inspection of site suitable to locate some businesses in the TEMA enclave for post 2 months. but no response. Please tell Michael I need help. And what are the requirements for service providers? So they are talking about
the same requirements needed for the setting up of any free zones or giving license to any free zones companies applies. I'm talking about the same thing. I mean, the same procedure or requirements are needed for service providers in the oil industry. You know, we have also set another unit called the oil and gas free zones in Ghana, targeting only those in the ancillary business, in the oil business or in the oil industry. So we are not talking. We're not talking to the main players in the oil business. As the main players, as those dealing in blocks and stuff like that. What we're talking about, we're trying to encourage companies that are in the ancillary businesses, like service providing businesses in the oil business. So they can also come into the free zones if they're able to meet the requirements that. The criteria, sorry.
Abbas is calling us from Kufuridia. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, Abbas.
Yeah, good evening.
Yes, good evening, Abbas. We can hear you. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I'm Abbas. Hopefully, on Azungo Point. My business go to Mr. Michael Kofi. May the good Lord bless him. And, hello?
Please go ahead. We can hear you.
Hello?
Kindly go ahead with your question, sir.
Hello?
Abbas, we can hear you. Okay, I think we have difficulty getting through. Razak says, please ask the CEO, how can I get in touch with him? How can he get in touch with you, Zabevi? I'm sure that they should come to...
I'll call him later on.
No, this one, I'm sure. You can go to the free zones and you should be able to... Hello, well done to the CEO of Free Zones Authority. I am watching him. He is explaining things very well. Kindly ask him, how do I have a small scale business. I produce sandals. How do I get in touch with him? Okay. So maybe by the time we end, I'm sure you can have some directions to your customer and office people so that people can reach you. Uncle Ato from Spintex, good evening, sir. Mr. Michael Ochrebefi, it's very interesting to listen. He's changed the face of Ghana Free Zones, and I will urge him to stay focused and do the needful for national interest. His people in New Job and South will be proud to serve them. Okay, I'm sure this one follows you also. Employment, CSR, and employee capacity building. I think I read this one already. Diamond Collins says that, Diamond, this is a lot. He said, hello, my brother. My name is Diamond Collins, texting from Midday along in Sawam Road. Just that I really enjoyed this program. However, I would like your guests to be able to specify to the layman or a laywoman in Ghana the benefits that is accrued to this country when it comes to free zones. Someone who has his money and come to establish in Ghana, just like you mentioned, Blue Skies, and employed Ghanaians and pay normal duties and taxes to the government, and someone who happens to have a connection and fly down to Ghana and established under free zone. Please do kindly let me know the merits and demerits, because a lot of things happening here is strictly for selfish interest. Please kindly advise. Sabefi.
For me, it's about somebody setting up business and the person's business model may be different from the intentions of people that decide to work with him. Mm-hmm. You know, sometimes people may expect a lot. Talking about local people may expect a lot from an investor who comes in to provide services or undertake manufacturing venture. But it is for them sometimes to moderate their expectations, make it a little moderate, and just sometimes look as also the interest of the one that is investing. Yeah. Because if I put in money, I expect to get money for the shareholders.
So we should balance the interest.
It should not be too somehow one-sided. It should be, there should be a balance.
Daniel is calling us from TEMA. Hello, Daniel. Hello, Daniel. Okay, I think we missed him. Sorry, you can go ahead, Mr. Biff.
So, I mean, the one thing is the free zones concept has helped a lot of countries, including Rwanda, Ethiopia, Djibouti, these countries have turned around
and benefited from the
freedom. And the kind of incentive they are giving is not close to what Ghana is giving.
Maybe and maybe people over physically,
because
but back here it looks as if people are not getting physical.
We have to start from somewhere to get to certain place. I mean, we cannot just start straight away and then just boom, then we get it. No, we have to. It should be a process. We move from one step to another. For me, we are doing well as a country, trying to make the concept very attractive for people to even come into it. You see, Ghana's benefit or Ghana's trump card in investment promotion is not anything but political stability.
Okay.
And the position of Ghana, it is well positioned and well located. Okay. I mean, as far as the geography of the world is concerned.
Let me pick Joshua from Osudoku and then I'll get back to you. Hello, Joshua.
Yeah, I'm Joshua.
Yes,
please,
Joshua,
I want to know how many years is.
Unfortunately, I think we lost him. Another one says, good evening, Najaman. My name is Ben Osebon. So my question goes to Dr. Okay, so this one was for the previous week. But Mr. Bevi, after African Free Trade Continental Agreement that's in, everybody's talking about it. Fortunately, as a country, we're going to host the Secretariat. To what extent is your outfit? And your outfit is going to play significant role.
A major role.
Yeah.
You know, they're coming into force of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement. I mean,
before we continue with that, after there's your namesake is calling from Sunyani. Yao Befi, hello, good evening.
Hello. Good evening.
Yes, Yao.
Yes, just wanted to make a comment.
Go ahead.
On what Nana announced said. You see, let's encourage some of our chief executives who are working well. Some of our importers, you know, can also set up business enclaves in the area that is talking about. But they prefer to import. I mean, we are seeing Ghana, and we are importing toothpicks and all those things. You see, using our scarce foreign exchange. Why can't those people get to the chief executive and then import, set up enclaves or companies that can also be of help and then rather export and make money for the nation?
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Yao. Yes. So, African Free Trade Continental Agreement and your position so far.
You know, it is in force now. I mean, but trading will start on the 1st of July 2020, and we have positioned ourselves as an institution of state to take advantage of it. You know, it is going to help Africa, and for that matter, Ghana. Because now Africa is going to be seen as one country. I mean, somehow, and we're going to. A lot of trade barriers are going to be taken off, and we are going to be competitive in business. That is good news for Africa. For us, as an institution of state that is also interested in attracting investment in the area of people who want to do more export, we think that we are ready to be part of this agreement. And you know, most of the automobile companies that have set up within most the African countries are all already located in the free zones area.
I see. So which ones and in which countries?
In Renault. In Morocco, for example. Okay. Renault is located at Tonjamed in Tonje.
Yeah.
And in free zones.
Yeah.
And we think that we are also ready. We are ready to.
That reminds me what I said from the beginning of the program, that we saw Mr. Alan Tremanting signing with the Toyota and all of that. Toyota is coming in?
Yeah, Toyota is coming in through the work, the hard work of our President, His Excellency Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, and my hard-working board chairman and the Minister of Trade, Honorable Alan Tremanting. They are doing so well, I mean, to change the face of politics in Ghana. That's what we are trying to do as a state. We are not in this political game to make money or to please ourselves, but to make the system change the status quo, that things that we're not doing before we are doing now.
Okay. Take Toyota, for instance. Where would you think that it would be appropriate for them to situate?
For now, we are looking at other things. We are putting things together. You know, we are also preparing to come out with the biggest industrial park in West Africa. It's going to be the Greater Kumasi Industrial Park. From Buankra down. It's going to sit on about 5,000 acres of land in the Ejiso traditional area. And we are looking at trying to get very big automobile companies to locate there, and other industries also to locate there. So we are still talking and working out the modalities.
To what extent do you connect with the ports in particular? As you mentioned, in some other jurisdiction, there's a lot of connection
and collaboration. Yes. When the new CEO came, and I think I engaged him, Michael, and we had a very fruitful meeting trying to see what we can do to help each other in business. But I believe that maybe in the near future, government must look at it again, trying to, if there's a need for us to put the two together under one umbrella.
Which one?
The ports and the free zones, they go hand in hand.
I see.
Most of the countries that are doing it like that, the model like that is doing it well.
But you have quite a number of inland facilities.
But you can also do inland ports.
The inland ports, even one we haven't finished.
Yes,
so
that one will be part of the Greater Kumasi Industrial Park project.
Yeah, the Buankra one.
It is going to be a major, project that will take place in that part of the country.
I am told that you're also having quite a number of free zone areas around in almost all the regions.
No, not almost all, some.
Okay.
We have one at Yabeo Shama, about 3,600 acres of land that we are developing into ecotourism. We have about another 3,000 acres of land on the Sofokrom, Ishiem, and Pintin, and no traditional areas. It's in Sekendi. We are trying to also develop that one into a very nice industrial park. Sorry, export processing zone. And for now, the project is not even completed. We have one of the biggest companies ceramic companies in China operating there, already plotted the prices. A cocoa processing company, Gensa Energy, Jintao, Chinese. It's a sanitary ware company. They are also going there now. Dangote is building the biggest cement factory in Africa under the enclave. So these are things that we are doing.
Let me pick Enoch from Kumasi. Hello, Enoch.
Yes, please.
Yes, go ahead.
Yes. In the first place, I'd like to thank our boss for his good work that he has started.
Okay.
But I have a question.
Go ahead.
Which I'd like to ask. For the young ones who are now venturing into businesses, what are the privileges that we young graduates can have in respect to freelancing?
Okay.
Okay, so I think
Thank you, Enoch.
we are apart from the fact that we are encouraging young people to venture into entrepreneurship and the free zones specifically, we are also trying now to start grooming young people from university stage. So we are setting up a new department. We are doing that's the new free zones.
Okay.
As far as the world free zones is concerned, the new free zones we are looking at is the incubation, try to develop people or groom young people from school to become entrepreneurs and to do free zones.
I would like detail on that one, but let me read this one. It says, good evening, please. I'm enjoying you tonight, and please, I'm Elisha, and I would like you to ask the CEO whether they make sure every company provides safety for the employees, because a lot of workers at the companies are not treated right, and some workers work for 12 hours and are not paid well. Some workers even lose their lives. So please, what are the free zone authorities doing to protect the interests of the local employees in those companies?
Very, 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 very important. You see, we think that the local employee is very important to us because they're Ghanaian working, and therefore we have to protect his interests. We need not to allow them to do what they want. As I said earlier on, companies that operate within the free zones are supposed to respect their workers and treat them well. There's a labor commission. If you are not satisfied, you can also petition them. And we are just an authority.
But can they come to you?
They can come to us.
Because
a lot of
you
them
know these companies.
A lot of them have come to us and we have settled matters for them. amicably. If you don't tell us, we may not know. We can only go there to do audit and do monitoring. But if you don't tell us what the problem is, we may not know to be able to remedy or rectify the problem. So what we want to tell our people is that we are there for them. We are there. The Free Zones Authority is there for the Free Zones enterprises.
Emmanuel says that
the companies and the workers. Tell us anything and we'll be able to help you.
Okay, so Emmanuel is telling you that my name is Daniel. All that you are saying is good presentation on television, but on the ground there is something different altogether. But I hope that you are bringing change now.
The change started coming long ago. If you have been in the Free Zones for some time, you will know that things are done differently now. Because, you know, at first, I mean, as I said earlier on, the compliance regime was only one, you know. Now we are doing 3. There are a lot of things. You can see changes now. The security has also been intensified. I mean, we are doing a lot. We are building good things at the enclave, making sure that they become very good habitat for business, habitation for business. So we are not leaving any stone unturned at all as far as turning around the business is concerned.
Sohail from Pakistan. He says, hello, sir. I am Sohail from Pakistan. I was in Free Zone in TEMA the other day. Ghana should also focus on local markets. You are importing too much. Companies in Free Zone should also be encouraged to manufacture the products being imported from other countries. They should manufacture from local raw materials using local manpower and to export it to Ghana instead of exporting to other countries. This will help Ghana to reduce the imports.
For now, the concept we are operating the export processing concept. When we go special economic zones, that one we will be able to sell a lot in Ghana. But for now, if you want to be part of the Free Zones, as it stands now, the law stands now, you have to add value to the product or service and export minimum 70%. That we cannot do anything about it as it stands now.
I see. Now let's get back to the automobile companies that we are hoping to see, and it's not just automobile, particularly now that we are getting into the African Free Trade Continental Agreement deeper from January 2020. From July 2020.
We started trading in July 2020.
July 2020. Are there special measures that we are to expect from Free Zones Authority as far as the operations of these Free Zone companies are concerned? I mean, or you are still just going to leave it open, follow the regulations, when you flout, we come to you?
No, you see, this is opening up business for us, especially in the Free Zones, because it has become a phenomenon that is coming to help Africa. No, Africa is going to be, it's going to be the second in the world. I mean, this agreement is going to be a second after World Trade Organization. It's going to be the second, and we have to take advantage of it. We need not to sit down for the benefit to bypass or pass us by. We have to take advantage of it. That's why we are planning, as I'm talking to you, a team is in place trying to put a session together, want to do workshop for and training for Free Zone enterprise to understand the concept and know how to position themselves to take advantage of the concept. Because we are not only hosting the secretariat, we are also somehow going to be the first phase of the whole concept. So we have to benefit from it more than any other company, another country.
I think we have a caller, do we? Joshua is on the line. Hello, Joshua.
Yeah, I'm from Osudoko. Please, there was this company, Golden Exotic.
Joshua, your line is not too clear. If you can position yourself well and help us understand you clearly.
Is it okay now?
Go ahead, yes.
Yeah, there is this company at the side, Golden Exotic.
Okay.
They were there about almost 15 good years without paying anything to the family.
I
don't know how many years is given to this company to work in the area under the prison. So how many years were?
You said without paying what? To who? Hello, Joshua. Okay, unfortunately we lost him.
I think he was talking about without paying anything to the traditional council.
Traditional authorities.
That's what I
that.
suspect. But you see, the point is that that's one of the things that I say we should look at. That it is they have a social responsibility towards the area they not to pay
it's
something.
Not mandatory.
Not to pay something to the traditional council. It is not written here anywhere in the law.
I see.
So, but sometimes
even if they are single factory, they are located somewhere.
Yeah, they can pay.
They
can pay fees. I mean, if it is lawful, if the traditional council say that they should pay this, they have to pay. You cannot stop them. But what the understanding I had from this is that they're talking about paying some money to the traditional council, like it's not like a goodwill money. That most of the traditional council demand this, and I will tell them that it is not in the law.
Okay.
We cannot force them to do that because
the companies can willingly do it.
We cannot force them. That's why we tell them to be socially responsible. They should undertake projects. They should do this. They should support the community. They should.
Sorry, Mr. Befi, not to rudely cut you, but let's pick Damois, who is our last caller, and then you can put all of that together.
Yeah.
Hello, Damois.
Hello. Yeah. Hello. Good evening.
Yes. Good evening, Damois.
When this free zone concept started, some experts were talking about the danger of bringing foreign companies into Africa and allowing foreign goods to be sold within the African market. And your guest is talking about bringing this company from Germany to sell cars from Ghana to the African market. So I'm asking him, how is Ghana promoting our own products?
Okay.
Allowing Ghana to sell its own products instead of bringing foreigners to sell their goods into the African market.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So you get that woman's point. Good.
Yes, you see, but the point is that we are encouraging both foreign direct investment and local investment into the free zones. We are not specifically saying that
only FDIs.
I mean, so anybody at all who is in business, who want to be part of the free zones, is allowed to come in. Because the essence is value addition and export for now. That's how it is. Because somebody was telling me about the fact that why are we not encouraging Kantanka and trying to bring Toyota? And I said that it is his own discretion. He can decide to be part of the free zones or not. Or if you want to export, if he has the market. Because if you don't have the market, you cannot sell.
Okay.
Ghana will always want to pride us because we are in the middle. I mean, people can use Ghana as a springboard to sell to other countries in the West African sub-region. So it depends on those who want to come to the. We cannot force people to come in.
Yeah.
If you are ready, you tell us you want to be part of it.
Whether you are local or international, you are accepted.
You be accepted.
So there's a message from Yabwating in Kokomlemle. He says, I have an export market for agro-commodity which will add value before export. It's unfortunate I joined the program late. One, where can I get comprehensive information about free zones? Two, is the 30% mandatory for local market, or I have the option of exporting 100%?
Yes, you have the option to export 100%. But if you want to, free zones office is located at the cantonment.
Okay, you are quite close to the Metro TV
very
premises.
Close, very close
this one says, good evening, please. I know this is not what you're discussing, but today is exactly, okay, I will skip it once you know that. William, that's not what I'm discussing. Hello, the CEO spoke of compliance and audit. We are a rep for leading compliance software called, okay, that's also advertorial. You may go to free zones and pitch your business. Now, please, this is Elisha again. Please, can Mr. Michael give us the location or the direction to his office where he can be bring our problems, or we can bring our problems relating to the welfare of the local employees? So he said again that free zones is located at cantonment. Folks, quite a number of information around port business, very, very important. The schedules of the vessels that are already seated in the port, those that are also at the anchorage, and those expected in the coming week, plus the Bank of Ghana exchange rates that you need to know to clear your goods out to the port. They are next on your screens.
A ferry with nearly 200 passengers aboard capsized in heavy seas off the Bakassi Peninsula, Cameroon, on the night between August 25 and 26. According to the Cameroon Army, armed forces personnel have recovered 3 deceased passengers. A total of 107 passengers are said to have survived the incident. A search and rescue operation for a yet-to-be-determined number of passengers is still underway. The Norway-built ferry Ostraheim was en route from Calabar, Nigeria, to Cameroon at the time of the accident. Authorities are yet to announce an investigation into the cause of the vessel's capsizing. Despite the ongoing trade war between China and the U.S., Hong Kong-based port operator COSCO Shipping Ports ended the first 6 months of this year with a total throughput rise of 5.4% year-on-year. The total container throughput increased to 59.8 million TEUs in the first half of 2019 from 56.7 million TEUs recorded in the first half of 2018. As explained, the growth was backed by the increased calls from the shipping alliances at the group's container terminals and the contributions from newly acquired terminals. In particular, the total throughput from terminal companies in which the group has controlling stake increased by 14.6% to 12.4 million TEUs, accounting for 20.8% of the group's total. And the total throughput from non-controlling terminals rose by 3.2% to 47.3 million TEUs, accounting for 79.2% of the group's total. Moreover, COSCO Shipping Ports saw a 4.5% increase in its revenue. The group reported a revenue of $517.9 million in the first half of 2019, against $495.5 million posted in the corresponding period a year earlier. GCC Bunkers, a physical supplier of marine fuels, has reached a processing agreement with Texas International Terminals to produce IMO 2020 compliant 0.5% sulfur bunker fuel oil. The parties would also produce 0.1% ECA specification gas oil in the Houston, Texas area, starting in early 2020. GCC Bunkers will supply the bunker fuel oil and gas oil through dedicated chartered bunker barges. It will also continue to supply 3.5% sulfur specification fuel oil from separate barges, ensuring that there can be no sulfur contamination. Texas International Terminals, the liquid and dry bulk multimodal facility for deep draft vessel, will operate a simple distillation unit with a capacity of 50,000 barrels per day.
going forward as we hit out there for quite a number of people who think that even the trading community are not too happy that they are taking over their business? What are we to expect from Free Zones Authority?
For us as a regulator, we think that we want to be more strict so that people would not take advantage of government. We believe that we are in the business of taking good care of governments. Government is the one who has given us business to do, or who has given us a job to do. So we have to protect its interests, and that's what we are looking at for. So one, that's the major one. Two, we will also want to assure investors in the free zones that will give them the necessary support, and we'll make sure that nobody also take advantage of them in business, so that they will be happy to do business. And when they are happy, we are also happy. And to those who want to be part of the free zones, you are welcome. You can come to our office, and we have very good staff there who will listen to you and give you insight into the free zones. And I guess it will help in taking a decision to either be part of the concept or not. And those operating in the enclave, we are doing a lot of work there now. You see, we are intensifying security. We are developing the place. We are fixing roads. We are fixing lights, street lights, to make sure that the place becomes very safe for business. Okay. And so you can trust us. We're in business together. Let us support each other, and Mother Ghana will be happy, and you also be happy.
Thank you. So Solomon Anderson and Lawrence Gaze, they produce this program. The technical producers, Bosomra, Joe Lavo, Frank Gomelesio, Joe Apia, and all of them, they supported this program. Robert Nyantichi, Godwin Kabute. The executive producers for this particular program, Nana Esisudobeg and Esther Jebidonko. The program was brought to you proudly by Ghana Revenue Authority, Goyle Company Limited, West Blue Consulting, Ghana Port and Harbours Authority, Ghana Community Network Services. If you get a copy of the Tuesday edition of the Graphic Business, you should read a lot more about this. If you get a copy of the Thursday edition of the Business and Financial Times, you should be reading a lot about this. And Ghana Web, you can go there anytime, and everything that transpired here, you can read about them. Thanks for watching.